What would you do if you discovered your spouse had been hiding their deepest, most vulnerable self from you? Would you be angry, hurt, or would you understand why they felt they had to hide? When Priscilla found Elvis's secret room, she faced this exact dilemma. What she discovered about her husband's hidden emotional world didn't just change their relationship, it changed her understanding of love itself. If you believe that the most beautiful discoveries happen when we see someone's hidden vulnerability, and that true intimacy comes from sharing our deepest selves, this story will transform how you see love. Hit that subscribe button, because we're revealing the secret that changed everything. November 1975. Priscilla had noticed something strange about Elvis's behavior. For months, he would disappear for hours at a time, not leaving Graceland, just vanishing. "Where did you go?" she'd ask when he reappeared. "Just needed some quiet time," he'd say. But where? The house wasn't that big. She'd looked everywhere. He wasn't in his bedroom, not in the den, not in the music room. It was like he had vanished into thin air. Priscilla became curious, then concerned, then suspicious. Where was her husband going when he needed quiet time? She started paying attention, watching, waiting. Elvis would excuse himself after dinner, going to take a walk, he'd say. But she never saw him outside. Going to read, he'd say. But he wasn't in any of the usual reading spots. Where was Elvis Presley hiding in his own home? November 15th, 1975. Priscilla was looking for Christmas decorations in the basement. Elvis was in Memphis, meeting with his manager. She was moving boxes, searching storage areas, looking behind old furniture. That's when she noticed something odd about the wall behind the bookshelf. It didn't quite match the other walls. The paneling was slightly different. Curious, she pushed against it. It moved. Behind the bookshelf was a door, hidden, camouflaged, completely invisible, unless you knew where to look. Priscilla's heart started racing. A secret room. In her own house? She hesitated. Should she open it? Should she wait for Elvis to explain? But curiosity won. She turned the handle. The door opened to reveal a small, beautifully decorated room she had never seen before. What Priscilla saw took her breath away. This wasn't what she'd expected. No evidence of affairs, no drug paraphernalia, no signs of anything shameful. Instead, she found something far more precious. Elvis's emotional sanctuary. The room was simple, but beautiful. Soft lighting, comfortable chairs, bookshelves filled with volumes she'd never seen him read. But it was the personal items that made her tears start flowing. The walls were covered with photographs, but not the usual Elvis photos. These were different, personal, intimate. Pictures of his mother, Gladys. Dozens of them. Some Priscilla had never seen. Pictures of Lisa Marie as a baby. Every milestone, every precious moment. And pictures of Priscilla herself. Candid shots. Moments she didn't even remember. Times when she was laughing, thinking, just being herself. Elvis had been collecting memories, preserving moments, creating a shrine to love. On a small desk were letters, hundreds of them, written in Elvis's handwriting, but never sent. Priscilla opened one carefully. Her name was on the envelope. "My dearest Priscilla," it began. "Today you smiled at me across the breakfast table, and I realized I haven't told you lately how that smile saves my life every single day." Another letter. "I watched you with Lisa Marie tonight. The way you read to her, the way you make everything magical. I don't know what I did to deserve a woman like you." There were journals, years of them. Elvis's private thoughts, his fears, his dreams, his love. Priscilla opened one randomly. March 15th, 1974. "Priscilla asked me today if I was happy. I said yes, but the truth is, I don't know what happiness is. Without her, she is my happiness. She is my peace. She is everything good about my life." June 3rd, 1974. Performed in Vegas tonight. Thousands of people screaming my name. But all I could think about was coming home to Priscilla. She's the only applause that matters. There were small objects, things that might seem meaningless to anyone else. But each one told a story, a movie ticket from their first date in Germany, a dried flower from her wedding bouquet, a napkin from a restaurant where they'd laughed until they cried. Elvis had been saving pieces of their love story, creating a museum of their memories. The bookshelves revealed another side of Elvis, books about marriage, about being a better husband, about understanding women. How to Love Your Wife, by Dr. James Dobson. The Art of Loving, by Eric Fromm. Making Love Last Forever, by Gary Smalley. Elvis had been studying, learning, trying to become the husband he thought Priscilla deserved. There were sketches, drawings, Elvis had made, all of Priscilla. Some realistic, some abstract, all beautiful. He'd been trying to capture her, to understand her, to see her in new ways. At the bottom of one sketch, he'd written, "How do you draw someone who contains the whole world?"
Music covered one table, songs Elvis had written, never recorded, never performed. All about love, all about Priscilla, all about the life they'd built together. Priscilla's song, a ballad about watching her sleep. Morning Coffee, about their quiet moments together. Lisa Marie's Mama, about watching Priscilla mother their daughter. By this point, Priscilla was sobbing, not from sadness, from overwhelming love. All those hours, Elvis had disappeared. He hadn't been hiding from her. He'd been celebrating her, honoring their love, processing his emotions. This room was his tribute to their marriage. Priscilla understood now why Elvis had kept this room secret. Not because he was ashamed, but because he was vulnerable. This room revealed Elvis's deepest self. The part of him that wasn't the king of rock and roll, the part that was just a man desperately in love with his wife. He'd been afraid to show her this vulnerable side, afraid she might think it was too much, too intense. When Elvis came home that evening, Priscilla was waiting in their bedroom. "We need to talk." Elvis looked concerned. "What's wrong?" "I found your room." The color drained from Elvis's face. "What room?" "The hidden room, behind the bookshelf." Elvis sat down heavily. "Priscilla, I can explain." "You don't need to explain anything. I need to thank you." "Thank me?" "For loving me so deeply, for seeing me so clearly, for creating something so beautiful." Elvis looked confused. This wasn't the reaction he'd expected. "You're not angry?" "Angry?" "Elvis, that room is the most beautiful thing anyone has ever created for me. Why did you hide it?" Priscilla asked. Because it's too much. The way I feel about you, the way I think about you. I was afraid you'd think I was obsessed." "Obsessed?" "I think about you all the time. I see you in everything. I collect moments with you, like other people collect coins. And you thought that was bad? I thought it was overwhelming. I thought it might scare you." "Elvis, do you know what that room showed me?" "What?" "That I'm not just your wife. I'm your inspiration, your muse, your joy. You are. And you've been hiding this from me. I didn't want to be too much. I didn't want to suffocate you with how much I love you." "Show me," Priscilla said. "Show you what?" "The room. Share it with me. Don't hide anymore." Together, they went to Elvis's secret sanctuary. This time, he was the tour guide. "This is where I come when I miss you, even when you're in the next room. This is where I write songs about you that I'm too shy to sing. This is where I read about how to love you better." Elvis opened his heart completely, showed Priscilla every letter, every drawing, every journal entry. "I've been documenting our love story," he said, "because I never want to forget a single moment. You wrote about me every day, sometimes twice a day, when something reminds me how lucky I am." "Why were you afraid to show me this?" "Because men aren't supposed to be this emotional, this sentimental." "Says who?" "Society, other men. I don't know. I've always been told that real men don't keep love letters and pressed flowers. Real men do whatever love requires." That night changed everything. Elvis stopped hiding his emotional depth. Priscilla stopped wondering if she truly mattered to him. The secret room became their shared space, a place where they could be completely vulnerable with each other. "I want to add to it," Priscilla said. "I want to contribute to our love museum." "Our love museum?" "That's what this is. A museum of our love story," Priscilla began, adding her own pieces. to the room. Letters she wrote to Elvis, photos she took of him when he wasn't looking, ticket stubs from concerts where she watched him perform. The room became a collaboration, a shared celebration of their love. "We're building something beautiful together," Elvis said. "We've been building something beautiful all along. Now we're just documenting it." The secret room became part of their daily routine. Every evening they would spend time there together, talking, sharing, connecting. "This is our sacred space," Priscilla said. "This is where we remember who we are to each other," Elvis replied. The room transformed their marriage. They became more open, more vulnerable, more connected. "I never have to wonder if you love me anymore," Priscilla said. "I can see the evidence. And I never have to hide my feelings anymore," Elvis replied. "I can share them completely." As their marriage deepened, the room grew. More letters, more photos, more memories, more love. "We're creating a legacy," Elvis said. One evening, "We're creating proof that great love exists," Priscilla replied. Friends who visited Graceland began to hear about the room, not the details, but the concept. "Elvis and Priscilla have a room dedicated to their love," people would say. Other couples began creating their own love spaces, inspired by the idea of documenting and celebrating their relationship.
The secret room taught them that love needs to be witnessed, celebrated, documented, treasured. Love that's hidden eventually dies, Elvis realized, but love that's shared grows stronger every day. Priscilla added, "Years later, the room remained, a testament to their love, a reminder that the deepest connections require vulnerability. That room saved our marriage," Priscilla would say. "That room taught me that hiding love is the same as hiding life," Elvis would reply. Elvis and Priscilla's secret room teaches us that true intimacy requires sharing our deepest selves, the parts we're afraid to show, the vulnerability we want to hide. When we create safe spaces for love to be expressed completely, relationships transform, deepen, become sacred. Love isn't just a feeling, it's a practice. It requires documentation, celebration, sacred space. When we honor love the way Elvis honored his love for Priscilla, we create something that transcends ordinary relationships. We create something eternal. This incredible story of Elvis and Priscilla proves that the most beautiful discoveries happen when we share our deepest vulnerability, and that true intimacy requires creating sacred spaces for love. If their secret room discovery inspired you, please subscribe to our channel and share this story with someone who believes in the power of emotional vulnerability. Let us know in the comments about how you celebrate love in your relationship, because stories like this remind us that love deserves to be witnessed and treasured.